welcome once again to the 920 show. We took a couple weeks off, and now we are back for a couple weeks until the 4th of July, where we will take another little vacation before we really get into the busiest season of the year. Wow.
My gosh,
Can you believe it's the end of June already?
I'm barely surviving.
I know, me too. Me too.
Why are you wearing glasses?
I don't know. I thought it'd be a cool different vibe, a vacation summer vibe for the,
Sure.
you know, I got my party shirt on. I got, what?
Do you think?
I know. It looks cool.
It does.
You know, Top Gun, Maverick inspired.
Yeah. Okay.
So we have a lot to get into today. We have a special guest that we actually recorded last week. Terry Charles, the director of communications for PMI Entertainment Group, joins the show to talk all things Resch Center, Resch Expo, and of course the Meyer Theater. We did record this last week. Didn't have time to get everything together for the podcast, so we are going to put that out today. And it is a very interesting conversation. A lot of interesting inside, behind the scenes looks at how things are brought to the Resch Expo and how things are held there, and some exciting things that are coming up. So. Yeah. A lot to look forward to over in the Resch Center area, as well as the gorgeous Meyer Theater. But it was a busy summer weekend that we had behind us here. There was the Automobile Gallery, Cars and Guitars. I took the kids to the Mural and Busker Festival.
I went to Botanical Gardens.
You went to the Botanical Gardens. There was a ton of stuff going on
because I had wet children in the back of my car.
We did the same thing. We forgot about the splash pad and when we went there a few weeks ago, and it was a whole.
There were some seasoned moms there though.
Yeah. You're not one of those.
Not one of those. No, they were ready. They had the water shoes. Yeah. They had towels. No. We just went in our clothes.
Fair enough. Do what you got to do to
worked.
have fun.
It was fine.
Yeah. Did you go down the slide there? It's a fast slide.
No, I did not go down
fast.
it. I didn't go down it. I watched them go down it though. But also those little bouncy trampoline things.
Aren't those fun?
That's iconic.
Yeah, super fun.
Anyway.
Also, Katie and you'll see us out and about this weekend. We have a group of 10 travel writers coming in. So I'm excited to share next week all about our excursions around the area. And Katie is putting an itinerary together for yet another content creator from Chicago this time coming into town. So we will talk about all of that and some suggested summer itineraries for you next week. But the interview with Terry is a little bit longer, and we like to keep these under an hour for you. So we're going to go ahead and hop right into the interview, unless there's anything else you wanted to talk about,
nope.
Katie. I believe you did the sign-off in the interview, but just as a reminder, we are, as always, in the Edge VR studios. Right there, of course. We were just talking to Sean actually about birthday parties, about camps, about all sorts of different things that you can do. It is hot. It is like in the 90s if you want to. It is nice and cool in here.
It is.
Of course. So if you're looking for somewhere to get out of the heat, if you're looking for something different to do, if you're looking for a birthday party, if you're looking for anything related to gaming, VR, anything like that, check out Edge VR. You can find them on greenbay.com. They have a listing there, or their website, or as we always say, Google Edge VR Green Bay. So you'll find them there. Also, make sure to check out our blog at greenbay.com/blog. Lots of great content coming up. Our guest blogger that we announced, Molly Crosby, has been crushing it.
Yeah, she's out here killing the game, making my work easy.
She has been, and today is Wednesday, so as you're listening to this, another one was released yesterday, all about Tapir.
Yep.
So check out that content. Check out our socials where you can find everything Greater Green Bay. So enjoy this conversation with Terry Charles from PMI Entertainment Group, and get excited for some great attractions coming to the Resch Center and Resch Expo.
Boo!
Happy summer, y'all. Welcome back into the 920 show. And of course, as always, we have a special guest. For the past few weeks, we've done a couple different segments, Katie. We've trekked around all of the districts in our region.
Yep. We
have talked to a bunch of business owners of some new things that are here in Green Bay. And now we get to talk to Terry Charles, the Senior Manager of Corporate Communication for PMI. And if you're not familiar with PMI, we are going to get into it. But on the very surface level, they run the Resch Expo, the Resch Center, and the Meyer Theater.
Yes.
And all of the programming there. So lots to get into as we are headed into maybe one of the busiest times of the year over at PMI. But before we get into all that, thanks for joining us, Terry. We appreciate your time.
It's my pleasure, and thank you for having me. And what took you so long?
I know. When we started this, we talked about you coming on, and then it just kind of spun and spun and spun.
I know. I'm just giving you credit.
Yes, I know. We need to make it a regular thing, I think. We like a quarterly update with Terry on PMI. That would be pretty cool.
That'd be a good idea.
Because, I mean, there's always new stuff to talk about.
Always new stuff to talk about.
Yeah.
Exciting stuff. First of all, a little education on PMI Entertainment Group. A lot of people don't understand that our company is set up very similarly to the Packers. So the first important thing to know is PMI does not have an owner. It's not like any other company other than maybe the Packers.
Right.
We are run by a community board of directors. PMI was created and today exists solely for bringing entertainment and recreation to northeastern Wisconsin. Any profits, because our company is a for-profit, non-stock company.
Okay.
But since there is no owner and it's only a board of directors that runs us, any profits that our company makes go back into the company, go back into the buildings we manage, or into the community where we exist. And that, of course, is Brown County, Green Bay, northeastern Wisconsin.
Yeah.
So it's a cool story. So I like to tell that to our employees because I say, there isn't, Bob, whatever, enter last name.
I always throw Jerry Jones in there.
Jerry Jones. There isn't a Jerry Jones who gets his pockets filled if we have a good year. And we had a really good year this past year, but that money stays here. It stays into Brown County. It goes back into the Resch Center, Resch Expo, help with the Meyer Theater. We also own the Green Bay Gamblers hockey team.
Yep.
So we control the largest tenant of the Resch Center. So it's a good story. And we do our own food and beverage. We own TicketStar, whereas many venues use Ticketmaster.
Oh, they've had some bad press these last
have.
few weeks.
Yes, they have.
The Swifties are after them.
Yeah,
yes,
so it's a ticketing company though, where all the revenues stay in Green Bay and Brown County.
Cool. I did not know that.
Big difference.
That
and many
awesome.
people don't, say, well, why don't you get that word out more? It's like, well, we have been for a long time. But again, it's, and the other interesting thing is it's PMI's 40th anniversary this year, created in 1983. So it's a cool story.
Word.
It's an interesting company because there isn't a shingle. There isn't a sign out the door. You don't go down Oneida Street or Armed Forces Drive and say, oh, there's PMI Entertainment Group. Well, we are there, but we're at the Meyer, we're at the Resch Expo, we're at the Resch Center, we're at TicketStar, we're in the Gambler's office, So a unique company that touches a lot of people, brings a lot of people to Green Bay and to our complex, upwards of anywhere between 700,000 and $1 million a year for all the things that we do in all the venues. So the Packers are a great story. And they make Green Bay because of their 8 home games or 9 or 10, whatever, which is great. Super important economic impact. Can't argue, but we do it all year long. Ask the businesses up and down Oneida Street, anywhere around downtown Green Bay. We're doing it all year long.
Yep.
I love that. So before we, I want to get into a whole bunch of stuff. I have a list of questions up here for you, but what does PMI stand for?
So it used to stand for Promotion Management Incorporated.
Okay.
So that was PMI was just a short for that term. Probably about 5 or 6 years into my tenure at PMI, which is nearing 23 years, the company decided, well, promotion management, that is kind of what we do, but that really doesn't even touch the surface of our company does. So we put together a study group and said we need to change our name. It needs to more fully integrate all that we do. So we did that, and through the process realized that PMI had so much value as to people knew we were associated with the complex. Yeah. So we didn't lose that. So we it's just PMI. Chopped off the rest and added Entertainment Group.
Okay.
So PMI it remains, but it doesn't really stand for Promotion Management Incorporated anymore.
Right.
We just kept that part for the value that it had and added Entertainment Group, which obviously can encompass a lot of stuff.
For sure. So I want to go through a little bit, and I thought a good way to kind of approach this, and if we want to go a separate way, we can. That's fine. But I want to kind of go building by building.
Sure.
Is that okay?
Absolutely.
All right, cool. So let's start with the newest.
Yes.
And what is now known as the Resch Expo used to be Shopko Hall and Brown County Arena.
Correct.
So what is that building all about? What kind of things are you hosting there? What kind of have there been any cool names there? All this sort of thing. I want to know everything about kind of the background of it.
Yeah. So obviously that was a building in the works for a long time. Brown County Arena served us extremely well for 50, 60 years. Shopko Hall did its part as well for flat shows, but we needed an expansion of exhibit space, basically, for the shows. We didn't necessarily need a second arena anymore. We use the arena floor more often than not for shows.
Right.
We just used the floor space. The seats weren't really used that much.
Because before Resch Center, that was basically the arena and Expo Hall together.
Correct.
Right?
Yep. So there was a connector where if we had a big, let's say the boat show.
Yeah.
So we would use the floor space in the arena, all of Shopko Hall, and then a little bit of the connector for floor space. But it wasn't adequate for those shows, and the arena was having issues of just maintenance, and it was an older building, with not a lot of money stuck into it. In fact, I think we determined it was the oldest arena in the country that didn't have any substantial renovation done to it. So there may be other buildings about as old, but they had a $40 or $50 million renovation with new seats and everything, so that wasn't the case. So now we have the Resch Expo finally came to fruition. Construction.
Great timing.
Yeah. Construction continued through the pandemic and in some ways flourished because things couldn't happen at the Resch Center, they were able to do things a little quicker on one hand. So in essence, it is a 125,000 square foot exhibition hall with no columns. Very important to say column-free. That's very important in the industry, which your colleagues use to help get events there. And it has a very beautiful lobby. It has an upstairs, the Nicolay Bank upper level is great for parties and hosting. If somebody has a big thing there,
my dad's retirement party there.
There you go. That'd be a great place.
I actually that's a great.
I mean, the views of Lambeau Field across the street and the practice fields. That's great. We have a lot of Christmas parties there now. Ooh. Imagine as the Titletown district and Lambeau Field is decorated for the Christmas. So
I love that idea.
We're doing all kinds of things there. So we're doing the obvious things there of the boat show, the home show. We're doing the wedding show there, RV and camping show there. We've had a number of sporting events there, which I'm sure, again, your staff was involved with, whether it was a gymnastics tournament. I think we've had volleyball or diggers tournaments there. I mean, there's a lot of names that some of these sports have used that I'm not familiar with. So a lot of different stuff. And of course,
darts, pool.
Yes, darts, pool. I mean,
bag.
Oh, yeah, bags.
Yeah,
we had the Wisconsin Emergency Management folks there this year with the 4 helicopters.
That
I
was cool.
I think I counted like 25 or 30 rescue
squads
in the building. What was it like
to have an ambulance land next to you, or a helicopter land?
4 helicopters. It was very cool. That was exciting. We were all watching out the back doors to have them land in the back parking lot.
Where did they land?
So they landed, they don't need a lot of space to land. So they just land in the back of the Resch Expo parking lot.
Did you have to draw an H with a circle around it for them?
We had it fenced off, and I think there was like a wind flag back there, and there were people to help. But it wasn't a hard process. Actually, it was a bigger process to get them into the building because they had the blades either had to be taken off or some of the blades could be loosened, and then they would all become narrow so we could get the chopper into the building.
That is insane.
So that was very cool. But that was a big thing that brought EMS people from around Wisconsin, actually even from Iowa and Illinois as well, because that's a big education component to that event where they're getting continuing ed credits for the seminars. So that was very informative for me. So there's been so many different types of things that have had major conferences there or exhibitions. And of course, right now, we can talk about, I know we were going to get to that, but we can get to it more in detail if you want, but Beyond Van Gogh.
Yeah.
is, I mean, without the Resch Expo, and of course, as we've talked, somebody else has talked about the NFL draft coming. That couldn't happen without the Resch Expo.
No, not at all. I do want to, before we start to look forward and talk about stuff that's coming up, I want to just, we have a wealth of knowledge in Terry here, and I would be remiss if I didn't ask about some experiences that you had at, Shopko Hall and Brown County Arena that are no longer there. Is there, looking back, like, obviously the where Resch Expo is today and the complex that this community is super lucky to have is really cool. But I know, like myself, I look back on that piece of property, that land, and get flooded with memories of stuff that I got to go see at those old venues. So do you have any of those that you look back on?
I mean,
like, wow, that was cool.
Yeah, and there are some that I was able to experience before I worked for PMI when I was in the media as a broadcast journalist covering the Dick Bennett years at the Brown County Arena with his son Tony Bennett when GB had its probably most successful run.
When they went to the Sweet 16, right?
Absolutely amazing. It was the place to be. I mean, the place was electric, of 6,000 people, probably more than what it was truly supposed to hold back in the day.
Gary over at SNC likes to tell the story about how he shut down Jason Kidd.
Oh, exactly.
In that tournament.
Yes. I remember watching it, and he did.
Yeah, he did.
Jason Kidd, who went on to be
NBA Hall of Famer.
Hall of Famer and a coach and Homer Bucks coach and whatever. And he did. He shut him down in that day. So those days were big. Just the amount of shows that I experienced. I mean, as a kid, Shrine Circus, I think they called it Holiday on Ice, which eventually transitioned into Disney on Ice. And I remember one of the last shows I saw there as a media member was Grease on Ice.
Oh, Grease on Ice.
Which was a huge thing.
Okay.
Yes. And then I started working here. And we've had Disney on Ice there every year. We've had a lot of World of Wheels shows at the Shopko Hall in the arena where
like car shows?
Car shows, and they would bring celebrities in. So people from the Dukes of Hazzard, or we'd see the Batmobile. So a lot of cool things. So I mean, so much memories we've had. We've had professional skaters there. I'm not going to remember her name, but we would
Nancy Kerrigan.
She was. I think she skated with her, but it was a gold medalist. And
Tanya Harding. They never skated together.
Yeah, no. I can't remember her name. Controversial. Yes, but so I remember taking her around doing media stops.
Cool.
With a gold medalist skater. So just the amount of people I've been able to meet. Gymnasts. We've had gymnastic competitions there in the whole complex. So yeah, it's just a lot of different stuff.
What do you think is the biggest performer to ever play the Brown County Arena?
Oh my goodness! I should have wore the T-shirt today because we made one. I mean, a lot of the big names from way back when played there. I mean, Kiss was there, Johnny Cash. I mean,
I think my dad said he saw AC/DC there.
Oh yeah, for sure. And some of those played there multiple times.
Yeah.
That's a mind-boggling question because that was the place back in the day, and artists that were how do I say this? Artists to the level of they were back then to where they are today, it's changed. We're not big enough to get some of those artists.
Right.
Maybe back in the day, as an example, if Taylor Swift, if this would have been 1950s, Taylor Swift would have played the Brown County Arena. Because some of them gotten so big, they're either in stadiums or have to have arenas that are 18 to 20,000 people for it to work. So back in the day, they all came there. Back in the 50s and 60s and 70s.
I know. I thought I saw posters of like Johnny Cash was there.
For sure.
I think it was Elvis there at one point.
Yes, for
Elvis
sure.
played the Brown County Arena.
He did. In fact, Elvis was there, and it was less than a year later that he passed.
Oh, wow.
Yes,
really?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Well, now we have a piece of Elvis by the Bay.
Oh, my word.
All right. I think that's cool to look back on. I just love talking about the history of that building because I was born in Green Bay, and I was born in 1988. So it was kind of like, that time where that property was starting to become, I was growing up, it was starting to become old and needing to be replaced. But but at the same time, there was still like really cool shows, and I obviously remember going to the circus at the Brown County Arena, and I remember going to like the Disney on Ice shows like you were talking about and all of that. So but let's look forward. So you mentioned Beyond Van Gogh. Tell me all about it, because to be honest, Katie's been through it. I tried to go through it, but I had a little bit of a family issue pop up.
And so you couldn't stay long.
I couldn't stay long. Okay. Luckily, your colleague, Nadia, she invited me back. She put my name down so I can go through it at some point and see it firsthand.
Yes.
But give me kind of the we have listeners from all over Wisconsin.
Mm-hmm.
If they're coming to Green Bay, why should they put this on within the time frame? Why should they put this on their itinerary, and what should they expect?
Well, it's unlike anything I've ever seen, and you've seen it, Katie. So you were there for the VIP night. It's I mean, to me, we were kind of talking. It's a big city type of event.
It is. I mean, I remember seeing promotions of this, like when I was down in Chicago, and even in like New York and all over the place. And so to see it come to Green Bay is like way
insane. Cool. Yeah, I remember when they first. I don't know who. I was getting ads for it.
Yeah.
On Facebook when it first was like.
More than a year ago.
Yes.
So they teased it. So
yeah, they teased it, and I remember being like, "Wait, what?
Yeah, what and where?
And where? Yeah.
So the backstory of that is, even at that point, we were in talks with them to host it at our complex, but nothing was finalized. So they went out and did that tease and say, Beyond Van Gogh is coming to Green Bay. Click here to reserve announcements or whatever.
Right, right.
But it didn't say a venue. So we were watching that, from behind the scenes and going, that's interesting. I mean, we're pretty sure they're coming here, but no deal was done. But if they don't come here, well, they go someplace else. So so that was well over a year. And we were working on this to make it happen. So there was that tease. That was way back when. And of course, the media contacted me. Was it coming there? I said, well, I don't really know. I mean, that'd be great. Obviously I had to be careful how I said it. So it's been in the works for a long time. And we finally landed it. It's going to be here for ultimately, close to 9 weeks. It's going to be here now through August 10th. And pretty much every day, except for a few days, we have some outside concerts coming up. One actually on Saturday, then one in July, one in August.
On the Bart Star Plaza, right?
It's in front of the Resch Expo.
Right, okay.
So Bart Star Plaza is actually in front of the Resch Center.
Yeah.
Yes.
My
so
bad.
It won't be open those days, and I think July 4th, it's not going to be open. But in essence, it brings art, and I don't claim to be an art person, if you will, but it brings art to me in a way that's exciting. Basically, it's not. Let me say it first: if you're a Van Gogh person or you are really into art, or art major or whatever, this is not meant to replace going to see Van Gogh paintings in a museum. That's a different experience. But this is, as the show says it is, an immersive experience. So it's extremely educational. I didn't know a lot about Van Gogh. I knew about the ear story, and I knew he was a troubled person.
Yeah.
That's about all I really knew. And I think Starry Night, who has not seen Starry Night, the painting. So you can come to this exhibit, and why I would urge anyone to go is, first of all, you're going to learn a lot about Van Gogh. When you come there, we absolutely encourage people to take the time. You're going to come into what's called the introduction hall, where you're going to wind through and see some of or you're going to see many visuals. And it's the story, basically, the story of Van Gogh. Take your time. If it takes you half an hour, read every one of those, because that will help prepare you for seeing the immersive experience when you're going to see his paintings. I think it's over 300 paintings that are part of this exhibit. They're going to come alive and are going to, be on the walls and at the floor of the immersive room. So go ahead.
They truly do come alive. Like literally the entire floor moves, the walls move as it transitions between the two paintings. It's so neat.
Yeah. So there's I think it's 35, I don't quote me on the number, 35, 40 projection or projectors that are used for this exhibit. It takes 4 to 5 days to set up. Obviously we have the walls, but then they add some other walls, and of course the projectors, and you have to fine tune those projectors, and they add a few other things. And it's just, and I should say, when you're in the immersive experience, when you start to see all the Van Gogh paintings come alive, it's a 35-minute process. So if you're going to come, plan to spend at least an hour overall, if not 90 minutes. Spend as much time as you need to in the introduction hall, and then once you get into the immersive room, you need 35 minutes to see it all. So it doesn't matter when you get in there; it will loop back. There is a beginning and an end, but it never says start and end. It will just keep going. So make sure you stay in there until you see it repeat. 35 minutes, so cool. There's contemporary music, I would best way to describe it, that plays with the paintings. There's a reason behind why and how it's all done. So read up on it. Go to the website, VanGoghGreenBay.com. That's where you'll buy your tickets, and I urge you to do it online.
Yes.
That's the best way to do it. And actually, they will tell you it's the cheapest way to do it. You can buy tickets on site, but it will cost you more to do that, which is unusual because normally online isn't the cheapest way.
Fees
but here it is, and you'll sign up for a specific day and a time period.
Okay.
So if you sign up for the 10:15 on a Tuesday, you don't have to get there exactly at 10:15. They'll give you a little leeway before and after, so you have some flexibility. And then once you're in, you don't have to be out by 10:45 or out by 11. The time frames are just to sort of help stagger some of the people. So
it's not a big wave.
Right. So we don't have 2,000 people when it opens at 10 each day, and then there's only 40.
Yeah, because that would be
at the end of the day.
That would minimize the experience for the 2,000. If everyone was flooding in all at the same time.
Exactly. But to give you some example, I have seen people who have read the story or who know Van Gogh. I've seen people in tears.
Oh wow!
In the immersive experience, I have seen children running on the floor trying to catch the paintings. I've seen people lay flat on the floor
and just soak it in
and watch it. And I've seen all ages. It's young children all the way up to grandparents. It's truly one of those, 9 or whatever to 99 or whatever that can enjoy this. So it's just very cool. It's unlike anything that's ever been to Green Bay.
Yeah, it is. It's really, I can't wait to go see the rest of it. I made it about halfway through the introduction when my phone rang that my daughter needed to get picked up from.
Okay.
So it was, I had to kind of scoot out of there real fast. So I'm excited to get back and see it again. So just as a reminder, Terry, how long is this here for?
It's going to be till August 10th.
August 10th. Okay.
So, and that's really, this is our first foray into something like this. I mean, we're used to doing events, Disney and Ice or the WIA Girls State Basketball Tournament or volleyball. They're, maybe 3-4 days. Yeah. And, Disney used to be 5 days, but that's 4 days. So that's about as long as we've done things. Or if there's a show, maybe that goes Thursday through Sunday in the Resch Expo. But so to have something that's several weeks, it's museum-like for us. So it's something new for us. And, we'll see how it goes.
I love it. Awesome. So obviously Beyond Van Gogh is there now, so everyone go check it out through August 10th. Can we do a little look into the future? What's coming to the Resch Expo that we can get excited about?
Well, there are some shows, and there's even things probably that I don't know, because I know Natty, you mentioned Natty before. Natty is our main person there, and she books things of all. I mean, a little bit of everything, really. And of course, in 2025, really looking out. We talked about the NFL draft. That's going to be there. And as the Packers mentioned at their news conference, nobody really knows where anything is going to be yet. I mean, we know our building is going to be utilized for something. What is that going to be? Is it going to be a green room? Is it going to be the media headquarters? Is it going to be, who knows? Is it going to be hospitality? Is it going to be some of each? We've got a big footprint, but basically our whole complex is on reserve, which means the Resch Center and the Resch Expo, and of course the entire plaza surrounding it. So, but gymnastics events, that's going to happen. I did hear that the EMS is coming back again next year.
Logging
Congress is in 2 years, I believe.
Yeah, because they're back in Michigan this year.
Right.
Every other.
Yeah, and then they'll
be
back
in 24, I think it is. Yeah, so they're going to be back. That's a huge thing. That's a major thing.
That was so much fun.
We haven't had that event, I'm just going to guess, maybe like since 2010, 2012.
Yeah, it was.
Didn't have the footprint, the space for them, So that was back.
Directly, all of these events, EMS, Draft, Van Gogh, all of these don't happen without the investment in the Resch Center.
Nope.
Absolutely.
Or the Resch Expo.
Resch Expo in this case. Yeah.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Yep.
Yeah. So, anything for the public coming up? I'm peeking at your papers over there.
Yeah. So we have a lot of stuff. I mean, it's more stuff. Coming to the Resch Center and to the Meyer Theater.
Okay.
So, obviously the Resch Center was 20 years old last year, so it's already going to be 21. The big project going to be happening in the Resch Center this summer, coming up, I think in July, where we have it. We did not book it for 4 or 5 weeks. We're going to redo the whole floor in the bowl, which is a major project. All the seats need to come out, and the floor will be redone. This will be the second time that's done, but it's overdue. We needed that to happen, so it's going to look really nice. The whole floor will be redone. There's more things going to be happening in there, improvements. over the years. Our company, PMI, is looking to change some things up in the interior and do some stuff.
Great transition.
Yes.
You mentioned that the Resch Center is 21, going 21 this year.
In September.
So you were a couple years into your tenure at PMI when that was being built.
Correct.
And I was, I was
a youngster.
I was 21.
I know.
I can't.
It gets worse. Well, I can't with you, Nick, and then with her, it's like I can't. I'm really aging myself, right?
You don't look a day over 40.
Well, you're very kind, liar.
No, I'm not. I think it's the shaved head.
It could be. Could be.
It takes years off. No. So I'm just really curious because basically what I was trying to get to is I was pretty young when it happened. So like, I wasn't aware of, the economics and the decision making. And now, like, looking back, getting something like that built, how was that process like? And how have you seen the Resch Center kind of grow up and become a mature staple of the community as to what it is today?
Again, I've been fortunate enough to be a part of a complete changeover of that complex from when I started. So when the day I started there, nothing is the same. Because when I first started there in August of 2000, my office was in Shopko Hall, which is no longer there. The Resch Center was a parking lot, and within the first couple of weeks of me starting there was a groundbreaking ceremony for the Resch Center. But all of my years in the media, which were many as a broadcast journalist, I covered the stories of the process to build a new arena in Green Bay, badly needed, even way back then. So to see it happen, that was a major story. I mean, on some levels, maybe at the time, bigger than what the Resch Expo is now, although the Resch Expo, that's a major switch for us. Yep. But back then,
I remember my dad and mom talking about their excitement for this and like how big I just didn't, I wasn't old enough to really get it, but
of course,
I do remember the excitement in the community and the build up for it. And, people, in the news, watching and being like, this is where it's at. This is where it's at. This many more days, that sort of thing.
So for all the great things that the Brown County Arena was able to attract, when we said the big stars went there, that was starting to wear off. That couldn't happen anymore. So once the Resch was built, we got Cher. We got the Eagles twice. We got Elton John twice.
I was going to say
Bon Jovi, things that without that building it wouldn't be possible. And yes, it's not big enough for the biggest stars right now. And people say, well, why don't they build it bigger? Or why don't they add on? We're in Green Bay, Wisconsin. We're not in a major market. At the time, the politicians and the organizers, they built a building they thought was affordable for Green Bay. And by the way, the price tag, this is going to blow you away.
I'm not ready for this.
$45 million.
Oh my God.
To build that facility. Now, when you talk about new arenas that are larger, it's several hundred million or close to $1 billion, so they're much bigger, but it's a bigger market. So for the most part, yes, if it was a bigger building, we could get some of those concerts. But, for the Gamblers, the Tenant, or, the Blizzard, or, the Green Bay basketball that we have, Disney Ice, the other things, the size is sufficient. It works for this market. And this market goes as far south as Sheboygan, as far west as Wausau. I'm not saying people don't come farther, but in general, of course, the UP market, Michigan, Escanaba up there, Door County, Lakeshore, that's the market. So it serves.
No, I'm sorry.
That's okay. Inside joke, right?
Yeah.
Sidebar for a second. We were talking to one of our interns, and she went to Marquette, and one of our colleagues was like, oh, when you headed back down to Milwaukee, and Katie was like, isn't that in Michigan?
Well, yes, it is.
Anyway, sorry.
Yeah. So, so the size at the time, it fit this market. It fit this market well. Yeah. But would we like to have it bigger to get some of the other stars that are just too big right now?
Yeah.
Of course. But
I don't know, man. Like, okay, so I'm
a Swiftie. I'm a Swiftie.
Sure.
Well, Taylor Swift would play up the road a little bit. She could sell that out. So
right. Yep. Hopefully someday, right?
I would go Taylor Swift and Lambo. Ooh, boy, I would love it. Yeah. But I have to say, like, I think you're selling it a little bit short because we do get big names.
We do.
There.
We do.
Oh, my word!
Like Luke Combs did 2 nights. Morgan
Wallen.
Yeah, Morgan Wallen. Yes.
Did he do 1 or 2 nights? 2 nights.
He did 2, didn't he?
I think he did.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, he did 2 nights here, and then like
Yes.
3 months later, sold out 2 nights at AmFam Field down in Milwaukee. Like,
Right.
we still, I think.
Oh, we do. We
yeah.
still do well. We still do
Punch
well.
above our weight class.
We do.
Yeah.
I think that's so typical of Green Bay. We we go ahead and we do these amazing things like you guys do at the Resch Complex.
Yep.
We do these amazing things, and then we sit here like our humble Midwest
I know.
selves
Yeah.
and say, "Oh,
Not
you
us
know,
bringing Morgan Wallen here.
Yeah, no big deal." Like, oh, but I mean, it is.
Yeah.
It's a big deal.
I think we definitely, especially when you talk about the concerts at the Resch Center,
Yep.
Yeah.
punch way above our weight.
I mean, we do really, really well for our markets, and we're well known in the industry as doing very well.
I mean, in
for
fact,
this
the Resch
market
Center
size.
was recognized. There was a I forget. I'm going to let you take it.
Yeah, so we were like named again. Off the top of my head, a number, but this is for it's based on gross ticket sales, and it was so that's an idea of how successful we've been.
Mm-hmm.
It was like for the last year, I forget what it was, but we were like ranked like I can't remember exactly.
It was top 5, wasn't it?
No, it was more than that. But this is of the top 200 arenas in the world,
right?
And we were like 89 or something
Wow.
like that
In
the world.
That's insane.
In the world.
A little, here I'm doing it again. My Midwest,
Right?
Our at the Resch Center in Green Bay, Wisconsin, we're on a world map of ticket sales. That's bananas.
Yeah, that's
it is.
insane.
It is.
Like that shouldn't that.
I know.
Yeah.
For a 10,000 seat arena.
Yeah.
Mhm.
How does that even like to me? I'm not a math guy. Katie knows this. Not a math guy.
Right.
Word guy, not math guy. Those numbers don't add up.
Right.
It's
like that
insane.
shouldn't be possible. What you guys are doing with that
it's insane.
arena there.
Yeah.
It's crazy to me. It blows my mind.
Yeah.
I just want to say that my first concert ever was at the Resch Center.
Who'd
It
you see?
was Martina McBride and Little Big Town
Of course.
in like 2010.
Okay.
Country stand my whole life.
I know.
So a lot of stuff coming up. We've got 3 outdoor concerts, including one this Saturday.
Okay.
Dustin Lynch will be outside on the Resch Plaza outside, and then we've got Justin Moore coming. I don't want to misspeak here.
17th.
Yes.
July 17th.
Katie's got it all on her calendar.
Actually,
July 12th.
Justin Moore is July 12th, and then Brothers Osborne with Cadillac 3 coming August 3rd. So those are all outside. All
Okay.
outside, yeah.
Okay.
So some of that time period. I mean, we like to do some outside stuff anyway because people want to be outside when the weather's nice.
Who was last year? Who was the one that was outside last year?
Was it Chase Rice? We had Chase Rice.
Chase Rice.
Was he the year before? Yeah, who was it?
I'm forgetting. I'm trying to say is Nadia sent me some pictures from looking. I think she was up on the
suite level outdoors of the Resch Center, probably.
Yes.
So it's looking down at the crowd with Lambo at the backdrop.
Yes.
Yeah.
Stunning.
Yep.
Stunning backdrop. Stunning setup. Like I can't wait for the outdoor concerts by the Resch Center to come back. Like those, it was just so cool.
It's fun.
to
It's
see.
again, you're in the stadium district.
What was like? How does that decision making process go? Because I mean, I've been here for a while, and granted, before I started this job, I have to say I wasn't like the best at keeping up with everything that was going on in the community, and now I do I'm much more plugged in. But like, that seems like such a cool, like, no-brainer idea. But I don't remember a lot of outdoor concerts in that area before last year.
Well, and again, we may have tried one 2 years ago too. We didn't have the plaza for it. So again, until the Resch Expo was built, it wasn't set up. So we had Shopko Hall. There was a parking lot in front of Shopko Hall. So now it's one large plaza. So again, that was all part of the master plan.
Utilizing that space.
Absolutely. Utilize that space. Lambo as a backdrop. And so far, the ones we've tried have been very successful.
It was
There you go.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, you'll have to forgive me, Terry,
That's
as you
okay.
go through some of these names because I am not. I know we do a lot. Country music is very popular.
So
in
Chase
our region.
Lee Lee Bryce.
Yeah.
So they're my confusion.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yes.
No,
I don't. Katie tells me I gauge the impact of the concert by how excited Katie gets, by how wide her eyes get when she sees your press releases come through.
Yep. And then coming up, I think we've got again all the names. Jordan Davis is coming up. More of an up and coming who is very, very popular. He's going to be here September 9th.
My sister was very, very excited for him.
I'm excited for him.
It was so funny because you guys announced Jordan Davis and like 2 seconds later, my sister texts me, "Can you watch Wade?" And then she was like, and she didn't even like stop to think she was so excited. And then she was like, "Oh wait, we're out of town.
Yeah.
Like, I should show you the text message because it's hilarious. She was so excited. Like, she couldn't even text English. It was such a confusing message. So, so what else we have coming up at the Resch Center?
There's a show coming up in October, which has never been here before, and it's called Jurassic World Live Tour. So it's dinosaurs. So I think people get a little confused because we've had some dinosaur events at the Resch Expo.
Yeah.
Like I think it was Jurassic Quest was one of them, and Dino
where it's like the
Stroll.
animatronic.
Yeah, so people walk through. This is different, and I think some people are getting confused. Well, I saw that. That was cool. This is really cool.
Mm-hmm.
This is a live action show. So think Disney and Ice. Think Marvel Universe Live, where there's action. So this is think about the Jurassic World movie.
Mm-hmm.
So they're taking basically a portion of the movie and bringing it to life, not on a stage because they're on the arena floor, but that's what it is. It's a show, moving dinosaurs, actors, vehicles.
That is so cool.
Yeah, it's a cool thing. So I encourage you to check it out.
I love the animatronic walk through the dinosaurs. Like, those are always really, really cool.
Mm-hmm.
But I love the idea of it being like a show, because when you walk through, you kind of walk through, you see the things, you read the things, you're like, okay, that was
so
cool. That was, but to see like a storyline and a plot,
correct,
and a whole,
that's
whole like I love Jurassic. I love 90s Jurassic Park.
Okay.
He likes dinosaurs, animatronics.
I like dinos.
Yeah.
That's... Sorry, finish your story.
No, I was just going to say it's really cool to hear that we're going to take that to the next level with a more of an entertainment style show.
And the backstory on that is that was supposed to come here before the pandemic.
Oh.
I actually, since it was a brand new production by Feld Entertainment, the same company that does Disney and Ice, does Monster Jam. They do a lot of different things. This is their newest show. It's been around a while now, but it got backtracked to Green Bay because of the pandemic. But
got it.
I was able to fly down to Florida before it even hit the road.
Terry got a preview. To
preview in their major production studios to see this show. So I've seen it, so I know what it is. So I can tell you it's pretty cool.
Yeah. Give me a realistic rating. Like, do you just find yourself immersed in this, or is it kind of suspend your imagination and just
I mean, I'm always a bad one to ask because I've been doing this for so long, and I've seen so much. You know, some of us
your measuring stick is different than ours.
Right. Some of us that say, well, it takes a lot to whatever, but this is cool. It's just different.
Yeah,
it's different. We've had over the years a Batman show that was high action packed many years ago. We had Marvel Universe Live, with all the so everybody's got that different
I'm a Batman
thing.
guy. Batman got me really excited. I would love to see live Batman.
Yes, I'm also a Batman fan.
Why so serious?
Oh my gosh. So when was Monster Jam in? It wasn't that long ago, right?
No, it was end of April, early May, I think it was. I'm trying to think.
Yeah, so I was going to bring my nephews to it, and I told
Which
Deacon.
one?
Monster Jam.
Oh yes, Monster Jam. Of course.
And I told
Sunday.
Oh my goodness. And I told Deacon that it was at the Resch, and he's like, they fit monster trucks in there?
They do.
What does he think it is?
I was like, yes, we've been there before.
It's huge.
Yes.
Yeah. He's like, wow, that's awesome. Where do they put all the sand? And I was like, on the floor.
Yep.
Before we move on from we are, we'll be cutting it close a little bit on time here, but I want to get to the Meyer.
Yeah.
Before we get to the Meyer, though, I want to talk a little bit about live sports at the Resch Center.
Mm-hmm.
Can you give me like a little bit of the story of the Green Bay Gamblers? Katie probably doesn't know that they used to be the Green Bay Foxes. Is that what they were?
No.
Shoot,
Penguin.
what am I thinking?
No.
What were they before
the
Gamblers?
Bobcats.
Bobcats!
Yeah.
We're bad.
That was bad. That was bad.
So thus the Gamblers logo is a
yeah.
Bobcat. So it's bringing the history, the past into the future.
Circle
so
gets a square.
Absolutely.
Nice so how did that come to be?
So the Gamblers were playing at the Brown County Arena.
Yeah.
They were owned by a private person, and he was thinking about selling the franchise. And this was early 2000s. And so we needed to decide as a company, are we going to risk losing the Gamblers? Somebody else buys them, takes them someplace else.
City,
Should we buy them? Should we bring minor league hockey here? Or what kind of hockey should be here? So we researched that. We traveled, watched other hockey, ultimately decided it was a good product for Green Bay. We decided to buy it, control our largest tenant. And these are the best of the best players who are aged 16 to 20.
Yep.
Most of the players are 17, 18, 19.
Yep.
These players are pretty much all on the verge of getting a Division I college scholarship to play the next level. Many are drafted in the NHL.
Yep.
Many of our former players are playing in the NHL.
Stanley Cup champions.
And I want to say, I'm losing count now, but we have 3 or 4 of our ex-coaches are current NHL head coaches.
And one of the biggest.
And John Cooper, one of the biggest,
Cooper.
has won multiple Stanley Cups.
Is he on 2 or 3?
I think he's won 2.
2.
It was back-to-back years.
Coop was great when he was in town, man. What a guy. And he still connects to I know he still calls into the local radio shows to do interviews and all that. So that's really cool.
So it's considered junior hockey. No, they're not professional. They do not get paid. They're amateurs. If they're still in high school, we have an arrangement for them to go to Ashwaubenon High School or study virtually, which is a thing now. But they leave their homes and they're staying with hosts.
Yeah, billet home.
Parents. Billet. Yeah, billets. Very
families,
good. Yeah. How about that?
Hockey guy.
Yeah. So they're living
sports.
Yeah. So they leave home at 16. I mean, that's
crazy.
That is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
I don't think I could have been keen
drive.
on that.
Oh, I would have done. I made enough stupid decisions living at home when I was 16. I can't imagine, going away from. But it is a really, really fun product, and it's almost like I always tell people this when they ask me about the Gamblers games. I'm like, it's only about 65% about what happens on the ice.
Correct.
And then like the show around it and the entertainment.
The entertainment, the promotions we have. It's a fun time.
Yeah. Bud Light Party Pit.
Yep.
Let's go.
Or family night where you get a deal on the hot dogs and the brats and the soda for family. So it's designed. I mean, we're set up very similar to the Timber Rattlers, I would say. The same type of product with the Blizzard as well, our other tenant. It's a fun experience. Yes, we have a percentage of the hardcore hockey fans who are there to watch the hockey. Everybody's there to watch the hockey, so to speak. But some people have more investment in the hockey and the ice. As to others, it's a great spectator sport to watch. First of all. But then there's all the other fun stuff, whether it's teddy bear toss.
Oh, I love the teddy bear toss.
Or
do they still do Chuck-a-Puck?
We do.
I love Chuck-a-Puck.
Yes.
My nieces and nephews love going to Gamblers games.
No, the Chuck-a-Puck was always my favorite. I actually remember, this is like core memory. Okay, so I don't remember the exact year, but I remember going to the opening game of the Gamblers when they were like rebranded as the Gamblers against the Waterloo Blackhawks.
Yes.
Oh boy.
Yeah. And there was Chuck-a-Puck, and I love Chuck-a-Puck.
Yes. Very popular because there's that chance to win something.
Yeah.
But kids and adults
I didn't care
just
about
like
winning.
to chuck something on the ice.
Yeah, exactly.
I think some people try to throw that sponge puck as far as they can.
To the other side of the ice.
Exactly.
The hockey fans will come up with any excuse to throw something on the ice. Like the Florida Panthers throwing the rats. Did you hear this story?
Yes.
It's so funny. The rat trick.
Yeah, that's funny.
And then the Blizzard is your other tenant, the other live sports tenant.
Yeah, well, and GB basketball, the Phoenix, but the Blizzard, so they are considered professional indoor football.
Yep.
So they actually they're paid to play, and I think we have maybe 6 or 8 home games a season there, and they travel around the country,
action packed,
play other teams. It's kind of crazy. I don't know how much they get paid. It's not enough to get tackled into the boards, to get hammered on artificial turf. I mean, it's hockey players. I mean, they all have a lot of gear on, but hockey players, they get tossed to the ice. But these guys are tackled every single time. But action-packed. The Blizzard had a great season this year. As far as home, they had great crowds. Gamblers had great crowds. It's been a good year. And then, of course, the Phoenix as well play their 2 Division I college basketball.
I know people forget that there's a Division I college basketball program right here in Green Bay, and it's great entertainment. And I know,
they have a head coach that might have the best name in the game, Sundance Wicks.
That's crazy.
He's brand new this year. Right?
He is brand new. He is a fireball.
The program's obviously, I think, we all know living here, the UW Green Bay GB program has had its ups and downs and its ebbs and flows like everything. But I think, everything that I'm seeing with their new athletic director who started a couple last year,
Josh
the year
Moon.
before, Josh Moon. Great guy. Had a chance to meet with him a little bit. Great vision for the program.
For sure.
As you mentioned, Sundance, the new coach is, I love his energy on social media.
Unbelievable.
And
if there's a quip, that man has said it.
Exactly. So I'm looking forward to big things with UWGB, especially as my alma mater.
Mine too.
Let's go.
Yes.
Yeah. Let's go.
Fighting Phoenix, baby. No, I do think that program is headed in the right direction, and I can't wait to see the Resch Center full again.
Yes, we look forward to that.
I saw they just welcomed back one of my favorite UWGB players because he was there during my time. Kiefer Sykes did his Hall of Fame induction, so congratulations to Kiefer. That's a great accomplishment. He was an NBA player for a while. I think he's still bouncing around pro, maybe in Europe here and there.
Could be,
but very cool to see that. So, Terry, we have about 10 minutes left.
I can do it.
This is the most interesting part of PMI to me.
It's one of our proudest things we do as well.
I just never understood how it happened because it made sense to me, right? There was the Resch Center and Shopko Hall in the arena, and then that turned into the Resch Expo, and you guys are the ones managing the things that are coming in there and promoting it. Makes sense. It's all one complex.
Yes.
How does the Meyer fit in, and how stoked were you when it came aboard? Because it is gorgeous.
It's a gem. So as we mentioned at the top of the podcast about PMI being here for the sole reason of bringing education, recreation, entertainment to the Green Bay area. Yes, our domicile, so to speak, may be at the Resch Complex, but we've done the Tall Ship Festivals, multiple ones, downtown Green Bay on the river. So we've done a lot of different things. So the Meyer Theater is a building owned by a nonprofit corporation, which is operated by a board of directors. So again, there's no owner of that building either. It's not really a public building per se because it's a nonprofit corporation. So they were looking for new managers many, many years ago, and the building was simply being underutilized and not utilized to its fullest potential. And it's a tricky business because it's the PACs or the Widener centers we think of are generally 2,000 capacity.
Yep.
Widener centers, the Meyer Theater is half that, 1,000. So it gets trickier on what you can book, what you have to pay somebody to make it work. So our first couple of years, we were doing some trial and error stuff and realized, that doesn't work, or that doesn't work. So
how long has PMI been doing the
Meyer?
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to guess with that, but I would say we're at I'm gonna guess like about 15, 16 years.
Oh, okay.
That's
so
a
it
rough.
Has been
roughly. I could be off on that by a few years, but roughly that's what it was.
Okay.
So we started doing season packages, and we're still doing those. What people don't understand about a season package is, it's getting the talent, how much does each one cost, how much the season tickets cost. So we've been maintaining something that actually the newest Meyer season we announced in May. It's got Ozark Mountain Daredevils in October, the Bellamy Brothers November, Aaron Tippin in January, and then that's called the country package. The other one we call the classics package. Interesting thing, tribute bands have skyrocketed to popularity. Really? We have almost every tribute band you can imagine.
I saw your most recent announcement.
The Spice Wannabes. The Spice Girls. And we actually joke with Matt Gables at GM. I'm going, is there anything that there's not a tribute for? He goes, I don't think so. But it's part of our...
Can I tell you a funny story real quick?
Sure, of course.
Meyer? So,
as long as you don't take up too much of my time.
You know what, Jerry? The producer and editor of this podcast is in my ear. Yeah, he said we can extend the time.
All right, sounds good.
So we went to London for the Packer game, right?
Yes.
And we were working with a wonderful lady who helps us with international marketing in the UK. Her name's Yolanda. She is a massive ABBA fan. Okay? Massive. Me, not a fan.
Yep.
Not a huge fan, not my style. It's all good. I respect her choice. But instead of getting in this whole thing, I just kind of was like, I don't know who they are. And just thought, so I didn't have to be like, okay, I don't like them. I didn't, our taste on them. I just said, I don't know who they are. Well, she hunted down this ridiculously good, for ABBA.
Yes.
Cover or tribute group. And they were performing this large venue in London, one of the entertainment districts of the world, right? We went to a dinner show with them. We were dancing.
Nick was getting
I was
into
grooving.
It.
I was singing, dancing queen.
Oh my gosh.
We get back. That same group announced when we got back that they were playing at the Meyer.
Mania.
Yep, exactly. And they're from the same area, like they're from Sweden.
Yes.
Like, and I'm sitting here thinking, I'm coming back to Green Bay, my hometown, which again we undersell. I just got back from one of the entertainment, fashion, cultural hubs of the world where they were playing this big venue, and now they're coming to the Meyer Theater. How cool is that?
So we've had Mania. We've had Mania once already, and they sold out.
Yeah.
So coming back, and I wrote it down. January.
Already, nice.
We announced to get it because they want to book it again because it did so well. But it's crazy how well these tribute bands are doing. So Mania is one of them, and part of the Meyer package, we've got Tusk, which is a very well-known Fleetwood Mac tribute band, and
love me some Stevie.
Steely Dan, which of course Steely Dan, which that's a good one. It's been here multiple times, great following. Of course, we have Project Pink, which is kind of a local one as well, which is an outstanding one. And then, I mean, we just announced the Spice Wannabe. We have Mania coming back. We've got One Vision of Queen, which is with Mark Martell. And Mark Martell's voice was used in the Queen movie.
Oh, really?
Yes. So,
do you know Queen?
Yeah.
You know Queen.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bohemian Rhapsody.
Yeah, you would know Queen.
Okay.
Bohemian Rhapsody. We Are the Champions.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
James Garner's tribute to Johnny Cash.
Oh, okay.
There's another one,
Yeah.
So there's so many out there. They've done really, really well. Yeah. So that's a great one. Of course, one of the mainstays at the Meyer, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention it. And I know he's been a guest on here already.
Yep.
Frank Hermans and Let Me Be Frank Productions. Basically, our house troupe. Came a long time ago. So entertaining. Does great shows throughout the year. His shows have been doing well as well the past couple of years. Again, sort of that post-pandemic thing.
Bayfest is right.
Bayfest is the one coming up, starting very soon, to June 16th. So coming up very shortly here. That runs through August 5th.
That's Friday.
A good run for that. Yeah. So Frank's got his niche of having those funny names that people can identify with, whether it's Manitowoc or Kewaunee or Pulaski or.
Did you hear some of the pitches I
didn't hear?
Oh, so we did a whole segment. I pitched him like 7, 8 different
names
names of shows.
Okay.
That he came up with on the spot.
I thought it was pretty good. Yeah. They were pretty good. One of them was a Breaking Bad spoof.
Okay.
But we call it Breaking Ice, and it's about ice fishing.
Okay. There you go. See, the sky's the limit.
Yeah.
The sky's the limit.
They could name him Walter Walleye instead of Walter White.
Oh my goodness.
That would be good.
See?
Phil Basser's coming up in August.
Ooh, I know that name. He's country.
Yes, he is.
He is.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. He always does very well. Board Teachers Comedy Tour. This is something we never had. These are actual teachers who are comedians.
Oh, it's a summer
funny.
break.
It's a summer break.
That's funny.
It's funny, and
my wife.
They're
might have to
bored.
go see
They're
that.
bored, so that's why they're out. But it's also a stress reliever for, and that's doing very well. So
when is that coming?
that is coming on August 10th. So again, not
I'm gonna
that
need
far
to get
away.
tickets because my wife's a teacher, so she would.
Okay.
She would love that.
This
Isn't
is
your anniversary around that time?
No, July 7th.
Oh no.
July 7th.
Okay.
July 7th. Her birthday is July 6th. I sometimes get those mixed up, but it's fine. So, Meyer Theater. One question I've always wanted to ask you guys about the Meyer Theater.
Yes.
What do the performers say about it? Because we took a tour of it, and for the I've been to shows there, but for the first time, I got to obviously there was no one there, but I stood on stage and looked out into, that really what's the word I'm looking for? Historic and intimate venue. What feedback or do you know? Would you be the right person to ask about the feedback that you get from performers?
Because Matt tells me, and I've heard it from some people themselves, is that they're in awe. I mean, it's a gem. It's not something you expect to walk into based on its street view. Exterior. It's just, it's it was a Fox theater way back when, and then it became a movie theater for many, many years. I was to go watch movies there, and then
it was a triplex too. They had 3
I believe so,
in there.
2 or 3.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if it was 2 or 3. Maybe it was 2. Doesn't matter. And then this nonprofit board, got together and raised a bunch of money to renovate it and put it back to its original state. And
it's
but
gorgeous.
I mean, that's what we hear. That's what we hear as well. I never expected this. For those who haven't played it before, of course, we have many repeats who come back.
Right.
But it's a great thing. And it's one of the things we're most proudest of to make that theater successful. For the theater's sake, for the corporation's sake, and quite frankly, for downtown Green Bay's sake. I mean, it's an economic driver.
Oh, yeah.
You put 1,000 people or 800 people on there on a Thursday night, or Friday night, or in the week.
Hey,
the businesses tell me, I was at Fox Harbor way back when, and I forgot we had an event there. I went in there after work. I'm going, why is this place packed? It's a Tuesday night.
Yeah.
They say, well, there's a show at the Meyer. I'm going, yeah, exactly.
No, yeah, exactly. Those people, they go out for dinner before and then
do.
go out for a drink or a nightcap or whatever after. And they see a retail store that they've never seen before while they're down there and come back to shop and all that.
And there's some people I talk to, friends of mine who I know, they say, well, we really only like to see shows at the Meyer.
Yeah.
We're spoiled because it's intimate.
Yeah.
It's still pretty much easy in and out, and it's a great experience. So so we're really proud of that, and it's going well.
Awesome. Well, if you believe it or not, we are at about an hour. So, Terry, thank you so much. Before you leave, can you tell the folks where they can go? Because we rattled off a lot in a relatively short period of time. And I'm sure people don't listen with a notepad and a pen
Probably
with
not.
them. So can you drop them where they can find all this info?
So for the Meyer, the website is meyertheater.org. So go for that. And then for the Resch Center, it's reschcenter.com, or Resch Expo, it's reschexpo.com.
RESCH.
Correct. And always make sure, make this very short, when you're buying tickets, no matter where you're buying tickets, make sure you're on the official site. That is a big problem. People get fooled by scalping sites that are selling tickets for us when you could have bought them from us for much less money. So just be careful of that. Make sure it always says the official site.
That's a great PSA. And then I will also remind everyone, like we always do with all of our guests, if you forget any of those URLs, the Google machine is just as good.
Yes.
Concerts in Green Bay, entertainment in Green Bay, all of that stuff. PMI site will pop right up as one of the top results. Also, you guys are on socials.
We are. It's all pretty much like at Resch Complex for Twitter, for Instagram, and for Facebook.
Awesome. Very cool. All right. Well, that is all the time we have for today. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Katie, hit them with the socials.
At Discover Green Bay on Facebook, Instagram, and it is Discover GRNBAY on Twitter. Or you can check out our blog at www.greenbay.com/blog.
All of Katie's handiwork is on the blog. What do we have? We have some new features coming up this month. That'll be really, really fun. We have a partnership that I am about ready to announce. We can talk about it, I guess, a little bit. We have partnered with Mason Crosby's wife, Molly, on a new blog series, Molly's Green Bay, and she will be taking us to all of her favorite spots. I was just texting with her today. We're getting a new picture set up, and her blogger profile will be ready, greenbay.com/blog. And you'll see all of Katie's handiwork there as well. Also, for all the stuff going on at the Resch Complex, at the Resch Center, at the Resch Expo, at the Meyer Theater, and all around Green Bay, greenbay.com/events. You can find it there as well. Links right over to Terry's site to buy tickets. All right. Thank you all again. And as always, be sure to get out there
and discover Green Bay.
Thank you, Katie. See ya.